Nene Uwa up. A round of applause, please. A round of applause. Thank you very much. And then it wouldn't have been possible without our sponsors and partners. RedClay Advisory, a round of applause for them. They are strategic partners for this event. Goge Africa, they are our media partner for this event. A round of applause, please. And all thanks to Radisson and Courage Hotel for giving us this amazing venue. And then we also have the GA, which are our event partners. Moving forward to our sponsors, we have Tour Brokers International, we have Travel Scope Magazine, Happy Coffee, Unique Patalictos, Wakabout TV, T-Probs, and also some of our anonymous sponsors. And also, this event is also endorsed by National Council for Arts and Culture, also Federation of Tourism, Association of Nigeria, FTAN, and it is approved by School of Media and Communication, SMC, at Pan Atlantic University. A round of applause for everyone, please. And also, please, a round of applause for yourself for making it to this event, please. You all are looking so good. You are just amazing. We will move forward into this event by we rising up as we have our national anthem. Maybe if in brotherhood we stand, Nigeria has our sorry mother. A round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Having our opening speech by our one and only Nene Fakoya-Smith. A round of applause for her.
Hello everyone, good morning. Ekabo, no, Sanu, in Arabic, how would you say in Arabic again? Assalamu alaikum. Welcome everyone to the Tourism Media Roundtable. And I'm feeling emotional right now because it's been a long day coming. And I'm grateful that we're all here together for something very meaningful in the tourism space. So what is this Tourism Media Roundtable all about? And how did it come about in the first place? I'm currently doing my master's at Pan Atlantic University. I'm currently doing my master's in Media and Communication at Pan Atlantic University. And then I did my project on exploring multi-channel digital marketing and how it can build sustainable development in the tourism space. And thankfully, thanks to my supervisor who's actually online, Dr. Anne Odo. Hello ma'am, thank you for joining us. She told me something. She said, Nene, you're doing this project, don't just do it to pass. Do it to make like an impact in your industry. So as you're doing this project, make sure that it's going to solve a gap in your industry. And I took that and I ran with it. And today we have a Tourism Media Roundtable because of that. Please help me clap for my supervisor. So what's the Tourism Media Roundtable all about? It's the problem we're having in the Nigerian space is that we're having limited collaborations amongst ourselves. And industries like the media, digital marketing, and we're not synergized together to work to help us build this industry. I was talking to one of my ogas this morning, and he says we have so much in the industry. People see that we have it, but it feels as if we're hidden. We have all the beauties, and we thank all these content creators like Wemi Moore, Jumoke, and Co, who are doing an amazing job promoting Nigeria, but it's not enough. We need the strategic people, the government, the policymakers, and actually the media people themselves come together to work with us so that we can be able to show what we have domestically and also internationally. So this tourism media is themed Amplifying Nigerian Tourism through Strategic Media Collaboration, and is bringing together tourism stakeholders, media professionals, digital storytellers, and policymakers to collectively explore how media collaboration can help to boost the Nigerian tourism space, both internationally and domestically. And the goal for this roundtable, we're not here to come and talk, please. I think we're doing a lot of that already in the industry. We talk a lot, but the problem is that we do not implement these things. I'm not here to play, we're here to work, right? So there's no talk. It's talking to give a solution that we can implement in the industry. So please be ready to work so that we can do this together. It's a solution-focused dialogue, and it's to create a foundation for sustainable collaboration. We are trying when it comes to collaboration, but we can do better, both in hospitality, travel, tourism, digital, and media. And this collaboration is going to cross across the media and the tourism sector so that we can work together to amplify what we have been doing in the tourism space. Like I said, it's not enough to just have the content creators. We need the platforms, the media platforms, the governments, the associations, and everybody to come together to work to implement these solutions we're going to do today. So just to wrap this up, we're going to be doing some of these things. These are the activities we're going to have today. We're going to have a panel session. And the idea of the panel session is not just to again talk. It is here to prepare us for the work we're going to do today for the roundtable. Then after the panel session is Tourism Meets Technology and Storytelling, a strategic media agenda for the Nigerian tourism growth. And we have our amazing speakers here. Dr. Adu will be moderating, and we have Ambassador Neka Goge Africa. We have Alhaji Badaki here, but he's going to be represented by Alhaji Simonu. And then we have Dr. Oluwatoyin Adedayo. She's the head of tourism department at Yaba Tech. And we have Kende. She's a senior consultant at Tech Cabal Insight. And we have Cornelius for Cardinal. They have a platform that they're using to help tourism businesses. And they're over there. You can go see them. They're part of the Tourism Media Lab we're going to do. Then we will have a presentation. I'm going to be sharing my research, what came out of it, and how we can work together to solve the problems that I've gotten from that project. Then we have the crux of the day, the round table, where we'll have different tables, and we're going to have questions by your coordinators that can offer solutions. So at the end of the day, when we're packaging our report, it's something we can share with all stakeholders at the end of the day. Then I mentioned we have the Tourism Media Lab. This one is the heartbeat of this event. We have platforms who are creating travel, tourism, hospitality, digital platforms, but we're not utilizing them. So I brought Cardinal so that they can come and show us what they have available. And we're praying that when we do it again next year, we'll have more of these digital platforms that are helping the tourism and hospitality, aviation space to elevate ourselves in the media platform. And the expected outcome from this event today is actionable strategies to strengthen collaboration between the tourism and media sector. It's called Tourism Media for a reason. We're trying to see how the tourism and the media can come together and work and implement whatever solutions we have. I was talking to Dr. Adu and Mokolo Shadi outside, and I said, we have too many, we talk the talk, which are really very good, but we do not implement them. My hope is that this is not going to be another tourism talk event, but more of a tourism solution implementing event, where we implement the solutions that we're going to bring out here together. And then, of course, the research-driven insights to guide digital marketing. I think one of the things I love about this event is that I'm coming to show you guys what I have done at the back end, to show you the solutions that we have that we can actually work with and implement eventually. Then, of course, increase awareness of Nigeria's tourism potentials through storytelling and media. Then lastly, we are going to create like a communique. I'm going to call it like the tourism media playbook, based on whatever we're going to discuss and offer solutions today, so that we can now share with stakeholders and of course start implementing these things. Once again, this is not a talk event. This is a solution-focused and implementing event. So I'll say thank you for being here, every one of you. And my prayer is that when you leave here today, you know that you came to an event that is going to offer solutions and of course create impact in the tourism and the media space. Thank you and God bless you.
So we've always been talking, every event that comes up around the tourism and media space is conversations. We talk and we talk, but right now it's all about working. Let's get these things done. Let's get our ends dirty. Moving on, but before we move on to the next item on our agenda, which is we having our keynote speaker. Please, if you work in the media space, please, can I see your hand, please? Media space? Oh, wow. Interesting. If you work in tourism space, can I see your hand? Ah, nice. Interesting. All right. Quickly, you'll be doing something like a few seconds. You'll be looking to the next person beside you. I know you guys are sitting on the same table, you know each other, but we are doing beyond that. Yes, you still introduce yourself to the next person beside you, and then you tell them one Nigerian destination you recommend for a weekend. I'm going to ask in summary. So let's go. Introduce yourself to the person beside you, and tell them one Nigerian destination you recommend for a weekend staycation. I want to know which of these destinations are really doing their job. We'll be done in the next 30 seconds. You must stop, though. Interesting. Interesting. I can see conversations going on. These destinations are really coming up. That's really coming up out of this conversation.
Maybe I can find that. Maybe I've listed.
Are you also getting the numbers, the contact already? Okay, so who can volunteer to summarize what conversations they've been having at this time? I want volunteers if I start taking the mic to someone.
Okay.
Okay. Please introduce yourself, your name, and then the conversation, the summary of your.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Shivars, and I'm seated beside Mrs. Omoere. Our conversation was very beautiful, you know, in terms of where we would like to go if we had the chance. So, if you can just get us from Lagos to Obudu Mountain Resort, not by road, like helicopter or something, just carry us like this and just drop us there, because we really don't have those kinds of spaces in Nigeria. That is true. Yes, you can say Mambila Plateau, but there are two extremes, right? And that's for me. So she said, Cap Village. It's new. It's a resort by Kunya Folayo, and I am also proud to say I know the architect of that place. His name is Architect Theo Lawson. For those that don't know, he built that space, and it's one of the wonders that you can find in Oyo State. So yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause from this state.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Farah. So, Fakoya-Smith, Ifuna, and I pretty much talked about going to Goge, which has recently undergone like massive renovation. So it looks really nice. It's comfortable. I went hiking there about 3 weeks ago, and after talking, we were able to conclude that it would be really nice to visit it. And there is an airport opening up in Ekiti soon. Goge is in Ekiti State. And there's an airport opening, I think, on October 16th or something. So yeah, it will be easier to get there without the rigorous road travel. So that was what we concluded on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. From Delta. You want to say something?
Yeah, I want to recommend the place as well. don't know much about it though, but good morning everybody. So I've been looking at Akwa Ibom recently, and I'm planning this December to go to Uyo. I don't know where I'm going yet, but I'm open to recommendations.
Interesting.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a latecomer, but I caught some of the conversation, and I thought it would be interesting to speak about them from my perspective. I see that we are mainly tourism practitioners on the textbook, but very little practical experience from what I hear. Let me speak to some of the places we spoke about recently. I heard about Ubuluku. Be interesting to see what's there. Most of us don't. But in that conversation, she spoke about Obudu Ranch. I've been to Obudu twice this year, and I'm sorry to say there's very little there, no activity. The rides are not available, the accommodation is not available, nothing is really available in Obudu. There's so many opportunities in the immediate community, including the Monkey Ranch, that is not exploited, so nothing is really there. We talk about Mambila, and most of you would not dare go there because you think of terrorists in the forests and so on. So the question is, we really need to develop more sites and actually go see these places. I heard someone speak about Ibadan. Ibadan is much more than, you spoke about IITA, but surprisingly, I was at the conference last week, Akwabafo, and I met the people from the forest reserve, and they have a beautiful, dated, aged, fantastic forest reserve with a lot of material. And being the kind of person I am, I contacted them a week later and requested to come and camp in the forest for the weekend. And the response was, no, you can't do that because there are terrorists in the forest and we're trying to push them out. But if you want to stay in a hotel in town, it would be convenient and you can visit it in the daytime. And there's not very much you can see there. I will continue. Okay, we speak about Ikogosi. I was in Ikogosi a couple of times this year and last year. And I observed students from the local universities came around to Ikogosi and they were not allowed to tour because of the cost of entry and the cost of accommodation. Ikogosi has gone beyond the practical availability of the average Nigerian. It is now designed and managed as a luxury resort. I say that also being the individual that wrote the tourism policy for Ekiti State. So we know some things about Ekiti. We have a number of fun, interesting trees in the town of Ilubeju, spiritual magical trees they call them. And I studied the trees for a few days and was looking for the magic. I will tell you, there's actually a very interesting tree in Cotonou. If you look at the tree, you will see faces carved into the tree naturally, and they've done very well with the underground bunkers there that remain from slave times. And there's a bit more seriousness about both their water parks and the resources that are available there. If you talk about Akwa Ibom, I am on the tourism committee of Akwa Ibom State as well. You've all heard of the very famous house of, what's his name? The Governor General, the first Governor General. I knew, but when I said it, I forgot the name. But you don't remember. If you go there, you'll find a very dilapidated building that has never been maintained. The very same way I speak about the state of the meeting room at Eburi in Ghana that was used for the discussions around the civil war where Gowon and Ojukwu and Gowon met actually. They've let that place run down because they have no interest in it. And we as Nigerians that think of that as a historical place have no interest in it as well. So when you do go to Uyo, there's a Ibano beach, not very clean, but it can be managed. There's the place I told you about, they call it Amalgamation House. Because of the work I do for the state in tourism, I researched it. Lord Lugard never visited the place for one day, but it is nice to tell a tourism narrative in order to attract you to come to the place. The summary of what I want to say is that as an industry, we need to take ourselves a bit more seriously, first as professionals, and then before we go and sell these products to others. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sir, thank you very much. Again, permit me. Where will you recommend?
Thank you.
Well, for the weekend, I think that if you visit the National Forest in Calabar, that is one. You visit the National Forest in Calabar. I know we all live in Lagos and there are quite a few places to go into Lagos. Most of them are really, really pricey. But I believe that we should all seek adventure. There are many places we have never really heard about. But I found Instagram and TikTok to be very good sources of joy. The weekend is coming up and I'm thinking of where to go. Unfortunately, I have to travel to my home in Accra for the weekend and the week. Things going forward. There's a lot more to do in Accra for the weekend, unfortunately. There's quite a lot to do across the border in Benin and quite a lot to do in Togo. But as for here, I call on you, I haven't really given it much thought, given everything I have just described. I'm sure there are some exciting places, like I tried last week to go to Ibadan to explore this, but I'm sure if you look on TikTok, you look on Instagram, you'll find a number of places that you can build from. And of course, I invite you to visit Ovunubu as we prescribed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Monkey Ranch in Calabar, in Cross River. Actually, I've been there. It's actually an interesting place. You get to see the chimpanzees in their states, and you get to see the baboons also. It's a very interesting place. You should visit actually, and they're open to welcome you to camp also. Just reach out to them and they'll give you a date if it's workable. Thank you so much for this conversation. I'm really enjoying what I've been hearing so far, and I hope you've been getting these recommendations, and hopefully we get to travel. We get to travel and not just talk about it. See these places yourself, either be for luxury, be for budget travels. There are different places you can visit in Nigeria. You know, now the way the travel industry is going, especially for green passport holders with travel limitations everywhere and all of those things. Imagine we having $10,000 in our account for 6 months, we want to go to Dubai and all of those stuff. We can always channel that and explore amazing places here in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Lolo Ngozi Ngoka, I hope I pronounced that right. She's the thematic lead, Tourism and Hospitality Industry Thematic Group, THITG, Nigeria Economic Summit Group. She's a managing consultant at Zigona Advisory, where she leverages her extensive expertise in travel and tourism management and economic development to provide strategic sectoral insight and solutions for clients in the travel and tourism sector. In addition to her role as Zigona Advisory, she serves as the thematic lead for the Tourism and Hospitality Industry Thematic Group, like I said, at the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. Ngozi has cultivated strong global connections with development partners and industry players, enhancing her ability to advocate for effective sectoral policies and initiatives. Our extensive network includes key stakeholders from international organizations, private sector leaders, governmental bodies, allowing her to facilitate collaboration and knowledge exchange that benefits Nigeria's travel and tourism landscape. In her collaborative role, she works closely with international and local government entities, private sector stakeholders, and civil society to position Nigeria as a premier travel and tourism destination. Our efforts focus on improving infrastructure, enhancing service delivery, and leveraging technology to boost the sector's competitiveness. Recognized for her expertise on the global stage, Ngozi co-chaired the Content and Programs Committee for the first UN Tourism Conference on linking culture, tourism, and the creative industries. Additionally, she served as co-chair of the drafting committee of Nigeria's National Tourism Policy, where she played a vital role in shaping the strategic direction of the country's tourism sector. Her commitment to responsible travel, sustainable development, and inclusive growth reflects a clear vision, a vibrant tourism industry that uplifts local communities and contributes meaningfully to Nigeria's broader economic transformation. Through our leadership and global engagement, Ngozi continues to champion economic diversification and job creation through tourism. Please a round of applause for her. Lola will not be here physically, but then she sends recordings which we will get to listen as the media help us. A panel is a tourism conversation Yes, a tourism conversation on tourism meets technology and storytelling. And then this will be anchored. A minute? Okay. Yes. Sorry for that. So this will be anchored by our moderator, Dr. Adun Okrupe. I hope I pronounced that right. This is what the pronunciation. Adun. Okay. Dr. Adun Okrupe. Great. Principal advisor, RedClay Advisory. Before she comes up, let me quickly read about to you for those of us that don't know her. Dr. Adun is a leading researcher and expert in the fields of tourism and the creative industries. She is passionate about the role of leadership for societal change, which is imbibed in the work she does. She is the principal advisor at the RedClay Advisory, a sustainable focused hospitality and tourism consultancy. She works with bilateral agencies, development institutions and multinational organizations, and investors in the sustainability, tourism development, and creative industries. Development spaces. So she is also the executive director at the Sahara Center, a non-for-profit focused on advancing sociocultural sustainability in Nigeria by harnessing the soft power of the creative industry. Our superpower is the ability to think strategically through complex challenges and come up with innovative and practical solutions, together with the tenacity to implement these solutions in a human-centered manner that integrates multiple and sometimes diverse perspectives of stakeholders. She's a well-regarded moderator, a facilitator, and speaker at international academic and practitioner conferences and events. She's a qualified chartered accountant and member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Scotland, and has degrees from the University of Keele in London and also in Surrey, a PhD Strategic Tourism Leadership. A postdoctoral fellowship in Sustainable Business Leadership was at the University of Edinburgh. Please, a round of applause as we welcome Dr. Adun. Please, a round of applause, please. Okay.
But before I proceed, or before I share some of my thoughts, I would like to invite my fellow panelists to the session. And I've been told a couple of people are not here. So who's representing Alhaji Badaki Ali? Okay. I know Mr. Sumono, but I don't have his bio. But good morning, Mr. Sumono. I'd like to invite you to the panel session. Mr. Sumono, I know he's a very well respected, very well regarded tourism practitioner and also tourism advisor. And we've had the opportunity to work together on some work that has had to do with tourism development in Lagos State. So if you'd like to please come on to the stage. And just to give a short bio of Alhaji Badaki Aliyu, who is the president of the Federation of Tourism Associations of Nigeria. Alhaji Aliyu unfortunately can't be here today, but he is also a seasoned hospitality and tourism expert with over 30 years of industry leadership across Nigeria's hospitality industry. He's a distinguished hotelier, consultant, and educator, and he is also very passionate about community service because he understands and believes that tourism development has to go hand in hand with youth empowerment and youth development. So, as a leader of FTAN, he leads the organization's executive council and is focused on repositioning Nigeria's tourism sector through his tourism transformation mandate initiative. So we can also just give Alhaji Ali a And then I'd like to invite Dr. Oluwatoyin Lydia Adedayo, who is a senior lecturer. Where is she? Oh, fantastic. Good morning, ma'am. Please come to the stage. I'll just read your bio. She's a senior lecturer and head of tourism management technology department at the Yaba College of Technology. Dr. Adedayo is a hospitality and tourism professional. She's got a varied experience in the hospitality and tourism industry with over 18 years in academic teaching, hospitality and tourism. She also holds several professional certifications, including the Nigeria Airways Advanced Course in Ticketing, Amadeus, Galileo, and WorldSpan. She's a member of several hospitality and tourism associations, and she is very keen on ensuring that her discipline and her teaching is practice-oriented. And so part of what she's also trying to do is to see how she can put the different practical and theoretical courses for her students, looking at themes such as geography of tourism, tourism promotion, travel agency, airfare and ticketing, tour operation, etc. Oh, sorry, I'm going to just mention this one. And also tourism crisis management and event and park management. She is an outstanding lecturer, and she's also won the award of Best Academic Staff of her department and Best Female Academic Staff by the Students' Union of Yaba Tech. So can we give her a round of applause? Then we have Kehinde Odushote, who is a senior consultant at Tech Cabal Insights. Kehinde is part of the research and consulting arm of. Can we give her a round of applause, please? She is a part of the research and consulting arm of Big Cabal Media, where she leads their work in business development and strategy, driving growth across private and public sectors. Before joining Tech Cabal, she worked in consulting at EY, Google, Warner Bros, Discovery, Warner Chappelle Music, and her work has spanned themes like digital innovation, market entry, and revenue growth plans. Kehinde has master's degrees in business administration and public administration from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania and the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard. And she also has a bachelor's degree in economics and African studies from Emory University. And then last but not the least, we have Cornelius Ugunua, who is the co-founder and CEO. Can we give him a round of applause? He's the co-founder and CEO of Cardinal Inc. Operated, a business travel and experience booking platform positioned to return travel confidence to businesses and their employees. Cornelius' vision is a world where African countries can truly compete and achieve dominance globally. And Go Cardinal is this platform because what they want to do is to connect African businesses with their travel needs within and beyond the continent by integrating trip planning, booking, budgetary, expense management, credit financing into the platform so that businesses can have a seamless way to plan, budget, and finance their travel requirements for both ground and air transportation. Cornelius has a bachelor's degree and has participated in various management and leadership programs. Most recently, he's a fellow of the Beyond Limit Fellowship for Founders in partnership with the U.S. Consulate. So can we give our distinguished panelists a round of applause? And what we're supposed to talk about is thinking about how tourism meets technology and storytelling. And I would say that and how do we actually have a strategic media agenda for Nigeria's tourism growth? So the roundtables we're supposed to have, which is why we're at roundtables, is that the panel will really think through and help us kind of think through some of these themes, some of these questions, and then we will be guided through how do we answer them and apply them in our own practical ways within the roundtables. And then all of that will then be gathered and we'll go into the communique that Nene has shared with us. And so, again, before we start, one of the work that we do is we do a lot of tourism development master plans for states, right? And also for countries and also for destinations. But the big issue is you do this beautiful master plan, and then what happens? How is it implemented? Who implements it? I would say that in Nigeria, in Africa, West Africa particularly, we're good at launching events. We're good at launching master plans. We're good at launching hotels. We're good at launching ideas. But beyond the launch, what happens, right? How does this storytelling continue over the short to medium to long term? But even beyond the storytelling, what are the images that we need to put into some of this, right? I heard the gentleman talking about Ekiti State and talking about tourism policy, but also talking about how different destinations don't have the required tourism attractions or tourism resources that make them a tourism experience. And I would say that this is really the role of the media, right, amplified by technology. Part of our challenge, right, is that you do this work and then you even try to say, okay, how do we create a business case for it? When an investor or a potential investor goes online to search for this destination, what do they see, right? Media isn't just about the storytelling after, it starts from beforehand. And so we really, really need to, this is a huge and critical gap in amplifying and developing tourism in Nigeria. And tourism media isn't, again, just about the launch event, isn't about just the stories, it's also ensuring that the guest experience is in line and in tandem with what has been promised. And I would say that we not always, but we are very good at selling, but I think it's important that we marry that with delivery. So again, this is not a speech, so you're not here to hear me talk. So I'm going to just pass a few questions to our panelists. So I think I'll start with Mr. Sumonu, really talking about collaboration and how this is important and key for revitalizing tourism industry. I think, we always talk about collaboration, but there is a way to collaborate and there's a way not to collaborate. Could you share some of your own perspectives on where you see collaboration work very well and what has been the key ingredients that have made it happen?
Okay, thank you so much once again. Good morning, fellow professional colleagues. Good morning, the convener, and all the panelists who are here at this table. First, let me quickly correct the impression. I'm Benga Sumonu, representing Alaji Ali Badaki, President, Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria. So I'm here in a two capacity, on my own, to also join my good sister, whom we have worked together on NESG project, and also to represent the interests of Ali Badaki. I watched FTAN before I talk about collaboration. FTAN is the Federation of Tourism Association of Nigeria, and that's the umbrella body for all associations representing the interests who are playing the space of hospitality, tourism, culture, monuments, and that value chain. Now, when the moderators spoke about collaboration, FTAN, under the leadership of Dr. Ali Badaki, when he came into position, came up with what we call the TTM agenda, Tourism Transformation Mandate. And with TTM, the T stands for, the first T speaks about tourism growth through partnership. Because he understood clearly that the growth and success of tourism in Nigeria is through collaboration. Any successful growth strategy we are going to build, every stakeholder must be dutifully involved. And not dutifully involved, but it must be very intentional and it must also be very directional. And what we do today in Nigeria, especially in Lagos and some other states that are promoting tourism, we do more of talk show than execution of those resolutions or those communiques that we have agreed on in our various talk shows. And then for collaboration, what I expect to see today here is to see those government policy implementers to be involved. Because what we are seeing today is an initiative of a single person, supported by other stakeholders who believe strongly in what she's doing. So I want to say that today we have not got to a level of collaboration for sustainable execution. We are trying, but we are not yet there. What we want to see is government believing in the industry, private sectors, and supporting, providing the enabling infrastructure so that those private sectors can succeed in their respective space where they drive, or where they flourish, or where they play into. So I want to say collaboration is key, it's the future, and there's no sustainable tourism program that you want to execute today that won't speak about collaboration. Thank you.
And I'm going to come back to you. Mr. Simone, because you mentioned that we need government to collaborate as an industry.
Yes, please.
I want to really push back on that, because I'm not saying government isn't important, but is it possible for the industry practitioners for us to work together and organize ourselves towards an expected end without government, or we need government to babysit us?
Yes, thank you very much. Well, I'm going to speak from two sides. From angle of the private sector, also from the angle of somebody who have worked, who have partnered with government in the past. And what
I'm just asking for tourism development. So
what I say and what I do strongly need is that practitioners, we can play our ball ourselves. Because, I'm sorry, government are not that serious to a level that they can see what we are saying. We wear the shoes, we don't wear pitches. So we should come together as a team, and look at the value chain of the industry, for example. Tourism has over 200 value chain. And most of the value chain are not even tapped yet. One of these is storytelling. There are few storytellers on tourism. So if the private sector can come together, we can be sure that the government will be forced. They will be forced to support us. But again, I said earlier on, it is our ball, it's our goal, it's our dream, it's our passion. So we must first show that as private sectors we are ready, we are willing, and we are determined. Then government can see and start providing what they call the enable infrastructure for us to strive and to blossom in this industry. Thank you.
Thank you. And the reason I pushed back is when we look at actual other destinations around the world and their tourism development trajectory, you see that government responds to what private sector has done, right? A lot of it is private sector creates the opportunities, private sector says, how do we move here? And then government responds to that and says, okay, how do we actually come up with the policies, how do we come up with the incentives, etc. But we shouldn't always, I would say, have to wait with government. And Kenny, I'm going to come to you because I think even in the tech industry in Nigeria, we can see that government requires trust, that when you submit your data, when you submit the information that is, you have, it's not going to come back and be used as a punitive measure against you to say, okay, you had 50,000 guests, so therefore we're going to increase the taxes, right? Because this is sometimes what happens in the industry. But also that we can really start to analyze the data and make very, very strong insights that can guide decisions. So this is another business opportunity, and I guess perhaps one of the roundtables could also really think about, how do we really push for data? Because if we're not getting data, we're not making decisions with data, with evidence-based insights, then we're literally just moving in the dark, because we're just going on vibes, right? And anecdotal evidence, which isn't strong enough. It's not strong enough for you to forecast for 5 years, for you to forecast for 3 years, 10 years, 15 years, if you don't even understand the behavior, your historical data or the behavior that you've collected. But I wanted to even say, even beyond this wide-ranging data, and Cornelius, I'm coming to you, beyond the wide-ranging data platforms, I think sometimes even businesses don't have data of themselves, right? They're not even learning from their own actions, they're not learning from their own activities, and therefore they're not able to make long-term decisions that relate to their budgeting, their financing, and how they plan in different experiences for themselves, but also for their team members and people that work with them. So can you just share with us what you're trying to do as Goge Cardinal in the Nigeria tourism ecosystem particularly around these data-driven insights, but I would like you to look at the business, the business itself, beyond thinking about platforms.
Good morning, everyone. First, I like the conversation we are having now around data because I think it's one of the biggest gaps in the industry, right? It's quite a gap that if any innovator is trying to build in the industry, that would be the first hindrance. Honestly, you can never build in the tourism industry and you go online and you see enough data to make informed decisions. Now, what we now do eventually is we now go out and use data from other markets in the Latin, in the Europe, and then we are not actually addressing the real problem within the market. And eventually we build solutions that are that are not sustainable eventually. And I feel that is one thing that is affecting our industry. And the good thing about technology is that technology tries to connect everything together. Sorry, I'm trying to get the name. You made mention about the value chain in the industry, and the truth is the tourism industry is a very wide market. And when you try to connect everything, which is what technology does, what it does is that you are now bringing everything together and you can actually form data that people can actually use to make informed decisions. And when you have that in place, you can now start pushing that data out there for every other person to actually build with that and make decisions around it. And the truth about data is that it returns confidence for travelers. You can imagine when you have a platform that gives you information about people that probably travel from Nigeria to Zanzibar, and on that trip you saw how many people that had been to that trip, how that trip fared for them, how they were able to make a whole experience or create a whole experience inside that trip. What it does for you is that when you are going on a trip, you already know where to go for that information and make a decision on whether you should proceed on that trip or not. And what that data does to you at that point is that it gives you confidence to proceed on that trip. Because the truth is, the cost to travel is increasing. And everybody that wants to go on a trip now wants to go on a trip travel that would return value. Experience, you want to go on a business and anything, there should be like a return of investment. So what for businesses, right, if we're talking about businesses, we already have a platform that connects something like that. And what we are trying to do eventually is how do we now salvage all the data that we can do, use that data to push into every other market so that it's not just about for businesses. Even you as a leisure traveler, you are able to see data that you can use to support your travel desire, because the truth is the market is growing and the market is changing. And if we don't integrate data into the market, Nigeria will remain where it is. She mentioned South Africa, but I am very much interested in the Namibian market, honestly, because what Namibia is doing is that Namibia is trying to build something from the scratch. I would use that honestly, and they've done so much around that. Probably they're copying from South Africa, I think so, because they're trying to almost the same border. Probably they're copying from South Africa, but you would notice that what they've done is that using governments is supporting as well, because their governments understand what tourism can do for them, but they've positioned their country as a tourism destination. And now you see so many Nigerians who are trying to go to a destination. You are looking at Namibia as one of them. Before you can't say, oh, what about Namibia, right? And before now, nobody knows Namibia, but they've changed the story. And that is first from data, that is also from storytelling, right? Because the truth is, if you are not telling the right story, people would not buy into your dream as well. So I feel they are all together, collaboration, data, storytelling, they work together. And if you miss anyone, you are not getting the other right.
Thank you, Cornelius. And I'm actually happy that you mentioned Namibia, because I don't know, has anybody seen any advert that says, come to Namibia, let's visit Namibia, No. But I have heard from so many friends, I think I have like 20 friends that have just gone to Namibia, that are investing in Namibia, that are moving to Namibia, but what I'm trying to get at is exactly what you said, that the way they're even going about trying to capture the market is very different, it's very unique, it's very innovative. They're using a business tourism perspective, so people are going to invest, particularly in oil and gas, right? And then they're saying, okay, there's also a lot of tourism attractions, and even oil and gas is not really oil and gas, it's renewable energy as well. But they're also then saying, okay, you can also then come here and live here, study here, and work here. So it's an entire package. So I would say that they're learning, of course, from South Africa, but they're also learning from destinations like Dubai and Singapore that have really married multiple products for tourism. So business and leisure tourism. So no, thank you so much for mentioning that. Dr. Adedayo, I would like to just really, because I think it's important as we're saying all of this, where's the pipeline of people that are going to work in the industry coming from? They're going to be coming from universities, they're going to be coming from polytechnics, they're going to be coming from places like Yaba Tech, right? And so I would like to understand from your perspective, particularly as head of department, how do you see technology transforming tourism education and research? And then what are you doing as Yaba Tech to prepare your students to actually leverage these digital tools for destination promotion and sustainable tourism growth in Nigeria?
Thank you. Standing on the existing protocol. Technology has redefined, let me say, the way we teach, both theory and the practical aspects. And let me give you an example. Before the e-ticket comes into being, we have a paper ticket where we write tickets manually. And today, we found out when you get to Yaba Tech, it has really helped our students. We have a ticketing room whereby we prepared our students. By the time they go out, they can stand on their own. And as of today, we have nothing less than 10 students, graduated students, that are having their own travel agency today. And at the same time, most time these students goes out. We don't stay inside the school and they were taught, they will just be teaching, they will be taught on what is happening in the maybe outside there. But even if they are taught in the theory aspect in the school, we still make sure that these students see the practical aspect of it. Just 2 days, last week, we went out with our students for 3 days on field trip to Badagry, and some of my students are here. They have been taught what is all about tourism, theoretically, but now they need to see it practically to be able at least to tell people the story of what it is. Yes, we can tell them the story in the classroom. This is how Badagry looks like. This is how OPEC at Sabekuta looks like. This is how Lumon looks like. Because all these places we've gone to, we can tell them the story. But at the same time, we want them to know, to see, to feel, to get there and see the story we have told them. And we really appreciate, I particularly appreciate my students, because most of them, after visiting these places, they bring it into practice. For the past 2 years now, we've been having a World Tourism Day at Yaba Tech. And the last one we had was just last week, where we also have not just Ojudioba, because our students visited Ojudioba. Now we've now brought the Ojudioba into the campus and make it Ojude tourism and interpret that tourism to be Ojude Igbafe. So with this, and you can't believe, Mama Otedola, the multimillionaire Papa, was there. She was happy and she said, I want to dance, because for every Ojudioba, we have every dignitary's, what is it? Okay, I am Otedola's group, I am Adedayo's group, I have this group. So we have Otedola's group. By the time these groups come out, you see, Mama came out and said, this is my group, I want to dance with my group. You can see him happy. And the PRO that came from the main campus was said, all work with house play.
Moving on to the next item of today's event is the keynote speaker's speech, like we used earlier. I hope the media guys are ready for us.
Tourism as a tool.
All right, please let us listen to the keynote speaker's speech from Mrs. Lolo, from Lolo Ngozi Angoka. Sorry, thank you very much.
Good morning, distinguished guests, panelists, and especially our host, Nene Uwa, whose academic pursuit has brought us together in this space of possibility. It is a great honor to deliver this keynote address on a theme that sits at the intersection of my deepest convictions. tourism as a tool for national transformation, technology as a bridge to global relevance, and storytelling as the soul of our national identity. Let me begin with the truth I hold dear, which is that tourism is not just an industry. It is nation craft. It is how we present ourselves to the world, how we invite others into our story, and how we empower our citizens to see value in their heritage, our creativity, and our hospitality. But for tourism to thrive in Nigeria, we must move beyond brochures and billboards. We must embrace strategic media, a deliberate, data-driven, emotionally intelligent approach to storytelling that leverages technology to amplify our voice. There are several anchors for Nigeria's media agenda in tourism, but due to time constraints, I'll touch on the major three, and then I'll speak directly to all stakeholders before I close. I'm confident there'll be other avenues for deeper reflecting. So I'll talk briefly today about technology as a connector, not just as a tool, storytelling for strategic advocacy for tourism, and media as a mirror and a megaphone to everything that we do in tourism. Now, digital platforms, AI, and immersive media are not just trends. They are bridges. They allow travelers in Montego Bay, for example, to experience Oshoshogbo festival virtually. It allows a diaspora child in Houston to learn about Igbo culture, and a policymaker in Addis Ababa to see Nigeria's tourism potential through analytics, not just anecdotes. We must invest in platforms that connect stories to strategy, from virtual tours to smart destination mapping, from influencer partnerships to real-time feedback loops. Our stories must do more than entertain. They must educate, they must inspire, and they must mobilize people. We need narratives that position tourism as a solution to youth empowerment, to climate resilience, and inclusive growth. Let us tell stories of women-led adire-making cooperatives in Ogun State, for example, of heritage sites that are being restored through community action in Asaba, of culinary trails that move from Anambra all the way to Kogi State, which celebrate our diversity. These are not just stories, they are calls for action. They are the stories that we can tell to mobilize people to come visit us. We must challenge the media to reflect our aspirations, not just our challenges. Don't keep talking about our challenges. Talk about where we want to be. Nigeria's tourism agenda must be patriotic, inclusive, and future-facing. It must elevate local voices, celebrate innovation, and hold space for critique that helps us build better, not break us. Let us build media ecosystems that mentor young creatives, reward ethical storytelling, and align with our national policy goals. Now, let me speak directly to the stakeholders, to government stakeholders. Tourism is not a low-hanging fruit. It's a low-hanging fruit, in our diversification agenda. But it requires more than policy. It demands platforms, partnerships, and pride. So let's invest in digital infrastructure that enables smart destination mapping and real-time visitor feedback. Let's incentivize media that educate and mobilize, not just entertains. Let us not just focus on entertainment media. Let's align tourism messaging with national priorities, which is our youth empowerment, climate resilience, and regional integration. Talking about ECOWAS integration, which is going to fully take place in 2029, in a few years' time. So we must build a media ecosystem that reflects our aspirations, not just our challenges. Now, to the creatives and media professionals, you are the architects of perception. The world will see Nigeria through your lenses, through your eyes, through the stories you tell. So please tell stories that go beyond aesthetics. Tell stories that mobilize, dignify, and unify us. Partner with technologists to create immersive experiences, AR tours, interactive documentaries, and diaspora memory maps. Uphold ethical storytelling. Let your work be both beautiful and true. Leave out all the negativity, please. Your craft is not just content, it is cultural diplomacy. So use it carefully. Now, to students and emerging professionals, and especially to Nene Uwa, learn to code, learn to edit, learn to pitch, but also learn to listen, to honor, and to build. Use your academic platforms to challenge narratives and propose solutions. Seek mentorships, but also offer it. Tourism needs your curiosity, your courage, and your conviction. You are not just studying marketing, you are shaping meaning and the way things are going to be. And to the diaspora, who are our global ambassadors, your longing, your pride, your investment, they all matter. Share your stories of return, your stories of discovery, rediscovery, and reconnection. Tell people about what you saw when you came home. Support platforms that showcase Nigeria's tourism assets with nuance and dignity. Collaborate with local creatives to co-create content that bridges worlds. Your voice is not distant, it is strategic and sacred, so use it wisely. In closing, because I know I don't have so much time, I want to especially salute the courage of our host, Nene Uwa, who has chosen to anchor her academic journey in a theme that demands both rigor and heart. May this event be a seed, one that grows into a movement of storytellers, technologists, and tourism champions who see Nigeria not just as it is, but as it could be. Let us meet at the crossroads of vision and action. Let us build a tourism media agenda worthy of our people, our past, and our promise. Thank you.
Please a round of applause. Thank you so much, everyone, for your patience so far. So we'll be having our break. If you want to go for the tea break, just take that exit and then just come in back through the entrance. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
tourism media and digital marketing in our space. So let me start. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'll be presenting my master's project, which is titled Exploring the Role of Multi-Channel Digital Marketing, Strategies on Sustainable Development of the Nigerian Tourism Industry. And this study was submitted in partial fulfillment of my requirement of my SME, my master's in Media Communication at Pan-Atlantic University. So, introduction. I hope you have the slides on. Okay, awesome. Introduction. Nigeria's tourism sector is very rich, we all know that. But it's underdeveloped, and unfortunately, we're not utilizing the digital space and the media space well. But the truth is that we can actually drive this and make it visible through engagement and also create economical value. Now, we're going to be focusing on SDG. I know we have the SDG goals, that's Sustainable Development Goals, right? We're going to be focusing on SDG 8.9, which is promoting sustainable tourism and job creation. Now, the next slide, key concepts. So we have what we have here. There are two keys that I'll talk about. That's multi-channel digital marketing, which is referring to the use of multiple digital platforms like social media, email marketing, websites, videos, content, and of course blogs to promote tourism experiences and build brand awareness. And of course also engagement and diverse audience across the customer journey, that is domestic tourism and international tourism. The sustainable tourism involves practices that support the economical environment, social cultural well-being of host communities, and of course, the economy value itself. And this is going to help to create jobs, also cultural preservation, which is very important, and resource protection, because we have these things, but we need to know how to protect and guide them. And of course, while it's offering tourism experiences for those who explore, whether it's domestic tourists or international tourists. So the next slide, the problem statement and objectives. Now the core issue here is that Nigeria is not using digital marketing well the way we need to do that. And we're having issues with integrating it, which is resulting to low visibility, fragmented branding, and limited growth. So the aim of this project is to understand the role of multi-channel digital marketing in building a sustainable tourism brand, and identifying challenges, best practices, and opportunities, and then evaluating how these strategies improve Nigeria's global tourism appeal. Then our use for the theory, like I said, this is a research presentation, so when you hear all the academic stuff, please take it. So the theoretical framework I use is I use medium theory and use gratification theory. Now, medium theory highlights how different platforms shape the perception. That's example, Instagram versus email marketing. You know, there's a difference between both of them. Instagram captures you get the image, you see the beauty. Oh, like something about Obudu Catchment, I hear that it's still coming there. But when you see a big picture of Obudu Catchment, I want to go there. Then maybe you sign up their newsletters and tell you, hey, we have a package to Obudu. Do you want to come and check it out? So from Instagram to email, you're seeing a different type of mediums that they've used to promote it. Then we have the gratification where tourists actively engage with content, with our content creators, that meets the needs, whether it's for planning, inspiration, or entertainment. So the next slide. Now, why this presentation is being done is because it took me reaching out to people to get this result. I didn't just fabricate it. All right. So the methodology I did a mixed method. That is 430 survey responses from tourists and stakeholders, and 15 interviews with tourism operators, policymakers, and digital marketers. Then we use the platform called SPSS. It helps you to collate the information, to get statistical analysis and semantic coding for interview data. And then triangulation is to bring all of them together, the questionnaires, the interviews. So like I said, okay, I interviewed these people, I got surveyed, how do we put it all together and it's making sense? That's what the triangulation is all about. All right, so next slide. So these are key findings for the quantitative. So quantitative is survey, while qualitative is interview. So for the quantitative, that is the survey, we found that Instagram, WhatsApp, and YouTube are the most used platform. Who agrees with this feedback? Instagram, WhatsApp, and YouTube are the most used platforms. And TikTok. TikTok too. but by the time I collected everything, these were the top 3. So the most positive impact tourism areas were culinary tourism, that's food tourism. Who agree?
Yeah.
I know our food is here, we agree. Then also they said coastal destinations, beaches, and cultural experiences, Ojoba and Co. However, awareness creation remains weak. Do we agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Despite digital campaigns, because I have my content creators here, Wemimo, Jumoke, you guys have been doing an amazing job. They are doing so much work, but it's kind of like limited. And it's influencing perception and travel intent. So now let's go to the qualitative, the interviews. This is where I interviewed my ebons, the daddies, uncles in the industry who have been doing this for years, 30 years, 20 years. And interviewers stressed the challenges like inconsistent branding. You know, today we had Tour Nigeria, tomorrow it is Nigeria.com. Today it is See Nigeria. It's just so inconsistent. And the limited digital skills. Who are these with this one?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's Google training. A lot of us don't know how to use Google Analytics, don't know how to use all these things. So yes, and then promotion of the lesser known destinations, especially through social platforms, has been a problem. So next one, key findings. One of the key, and I'm going to be focusing on the SDG goal 8.9, which is about trying to use sustainable tourism to create job creation. One of the key contributions of this study is how digital marketing supports Sustainable Development Goal 8.9. So responses said and highlighted that platforms like Instagram and YouTube are being used not just for promotion, but for inclusive storytelling, showcasing local destinations, cultural heritage, and community-based experience. Do you believe that? I think we're beginning to see a lot of people doing more of going to communities, tourist communities, and like promoting them more. This approach not only builds visibility, but also supports job creation, cultural preservation, because that's one of the big problems we're having. We have beautiful museums, but when you go to museums, they're dilapidated. And economic participation, directly aligning with the SDG goal that's calling for sustainable tourism that can create decent work and promote local culture. Now next, the triangulation method, where I brought all the findings from the qualitative and quantitative. I also use theoretical methods to help us understand these two methods that I've used. Okay, so we're going to present in the survey result, in-depth interviews, organized by each research question along with theoretical alignment. That's a lot of work, but please stay with me. So the first research question was, what role do multi-channel digital marketing, and like I said, multi-digital marketing is using different platforms, it's the social media, email marketing, videos and all that. From the research was said, using multi-channel digital marketing strategy to play in building a sustainable tourism brand in Nigeria. And this was the feedback. From both the survey and interview, it's clear that multi-channel digital marketing, especially Instagram, WhatsApp, and YouTube, are instrumental in shaping Nigeria's tourism brand. While the quantitative data, that's a survey, shows high engagement with food, beach, and ecotourism. Qualitative responses confirm that the power of storytelling, influencer marketing, and consistent brand visual is helping with the branding. Now we use medium theory. Medium theory is trying to understand how the formats and the functions, for example now, Instagram visuals, how does it shape the perception? Like example, I see a picture of, let's say, Olumo Rock. If the picture is really nice, the quality is good, if I'm a climber, I will want to go and explore that place. Or let's say Dory Hills. And if I love things that have to do with hill climbing, the visuals that we show people helps them say, oh, okay, I like to go here, I like to experience these places. Then user gratification aligns because users are actively seeking for inspirational content to plan and envision their trips. Like, I see what the Gen Zs are doing, and guys, I know I'm not Gen Z, I mean, what am I? Gen what? Millennial. So, I love the way they are actually seeking to explore places. We didn't really do that because we felt we didn't have anything, but they are really taking their time to use social media to look for and to create content. So that is very important. So let's go to the research question 2. What are the best practices, challenges, opportunities in implementing digital marketing within the Nigeria's tourism sector? The survey said that we have weak awareness and inconsistent content strategy. Is that true? Yeah. Weak awareness and inconsistent content strategy.
Yes.
We agree.
Yeah.
But high motivation to travel when content is compelling.
Yes.
from the interviews, we learned that low funding, please, my tourism people that work in the industry, I think if you any fun, I've not seen it all. Low funding, weak strategy, and lack of training were major challenges while identifying that there's opportunities for such as influencer partnership, niche content curation, and community engagement. Let me explain. Influencer partnership, we have travel content creators, travel bloggers, working like maybe tourism boards to create content for them. Then when we talk about niche content creation, we have those who say, okay, I want to do just adventure. They focus on adventure tourism. I want to do culinary, just food. They focus on that. So that's what we mean by niche content. And then community engagement. We're now trying to work with communities that have tourist destinations to make sure that we're promoting them. Or like when we don't know about a very, let's say, a destination that's not popular. Look at Ojode Oba. They've been doing this thing for centuries. But all of a sudden, because of one content, you saw one Baba wearing cap, that's all this smoke and on the horse. Ah, I want to go. That's content creation. All right. So for the medium theory, it explains that the need for coordinated platforms is very important, where we can bring in content creators, the media people, the digital marketers together, like what we're doing here, to see how we can create content that we can push out there. Therefore, the user gratification shows that engagement to improve, content must match with users' desires. For example, okay, I've seen content, is it entertaining? Is it informative? Is it emotionally connecting? Then the last research question was, how can multi-channel digital marketing strategies enhance Nigeria's competitiveness in the global tourism marketplace? As much as we like trying to promote domestic tourism, we also want people abroad, whether it's diaspora, whether those who are interested in our country and our culture, to come in. I like what I've seen so far online now. We are seeing people from different countries, different cultures want to come and experience Nigeria. And we have at least tour operators, travel agents, content developers, tour guides doing a great job by promoting, but we need to do more. So the survey response showed that digital content significantly influences perception of Nigeria as a tourism destination. So that means we need to do more work to show people that Nigeria is a tourist destination. Ghana is doing a good job with that. Even our, I know you're the ones, so it was one group that does that. Even our cousin countries like Benin Republic, Togo, they're doing a great job. And guess what? They don't have quota, don't even have quota. And to go to African, am I wrong? Do they have quota what we have? No, we have almost everything from environment to culture to food. Yes, our cousin countries are doing better. We need to do more. All right? So the interviewers say that there's a depth, pointing out there's an opportunity for global visibility through strategic branding, diaspora focused campaign. Guys, the diasporas are like our markets. We have some people who they were not going in Nigeria, but they want to come to Nigeria, they want to explore Nigeria. I will give an example. I did a blog post about 7 years ago on my travel blog, when I was serious, my travel blog lens. And like 2 or 3 years later, a guy sent me an email through my blog and said, I traced my lineage and I found out I'm a Nigerian. But I've been looking for a tour operator to bring me down here. I've not found anyone. I was like, oh, there are plenty. I said, don't worry, I will recommend. I said, yes, I saw your blog, you interviewed about, I did like 10 tour operators, young tour operators. I said, which of these one would you recommend? So I recommended one to him. And 6 months later, this guy came to Nigeria to explore Nigeria and he was so happy that he said he was going to bring all his other brothers and sisters who have traced their lineage. If he needs that content online, would he have known? I said he has been searching and searching. So we have a lot of work to do when it comes to doing that for the diaspora focus campaign. And of course, digital innovation. That's why I have people like Cardinal who are doing an amazing job trying to see how they can work with business tourism and promote what they're doing. So both findings suggest that while Nigeria's global image is improving, thanks to places like Ojudo Oba, Calabar Carnival, even our marathon races they're doing, yes, it's helping. But we still have a lot of work to do to say we're competing. Right now, I can't say we can compete with Ghana. Not even Benin Republic, I'm sorry. We still have a lot of work to do. We have it all. Say, am I wrong? Because I know you actually said people there. No, am I wrong? How can you now? So, hey, you're trying to promote Nigeria to Nigeria. Please tell the truth. So video theory supports this by highlighting how the platform's nature can actually shape a country's digital identity. And the user gratification tells us that international tourists are drawn to relatable cultural immersive stories that reflect their travel values. Like I remember someone who came to Nigeria from South Africa and said, I want to enter Okada, I want to experience Okada, I don't want to enter car, she just wants to experience Okada and Keke because it's what they see on, what they watch in Hollywood movies, you know that. Yes. Alright, so to wrap this up, conclusion and recommendation, that we are. In conclusion, this study shows that multi-channel digital marketing is a powerful tool to shape Nigeria's tourism image and drive sustainable growth. Do we agree?
Yes.
Do we agree?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So based on the finding, I propose these 5 key strategy recommendations. 1, develop a unified national digital tourism brand.
Yes.
What does this mean? Nigeria needs a consistent brand identity. I mean, like, we should stop saying today, see Nigeria, tomorrow it is, visit Nigeria. We need to, like, and what I mean together, we should not leave it to the tourism industry alone. Work with the media, work with the digital marketing. That's why we have this kind of roundtable. I wish we could have more media people. I'm sure by next year, by God's grace, we'll get more of the other industries to see how they can key in with us. So we need that across platforms, especially when we focus on visual storytelling. And I think Nollywood is doing an amazing job with that, right? But we can do more. Nollywood and tourism can collaborate together to do more. All right, so then number 2, invest in digital training. I know that we have platforms like Google that they work with people to train them, but we can do more. And especially stakeholders, especially like medium small companies, travelers and local operators, we need the capacity building to use tools like Canva. Simple tools actually. Some people don't know how to use Canva. That's just the honest truth, right? So training them to use Canva, how to use Instagram well. Instagram keeps changing their algorithms and like every day they're changing something. So they need to be kept in sync on know how to use Instagram, WhatsApp, TikTok well. And of course, YouTube. YouTube is like the media now. Anything video is what is selling, right? So but people need training on how to use these platforms. Okay? Then the next one was strengthen public-private partnership. That's what we have here. Bringing both the public and the private partners together to work. I pray that next year when we do this, we have more public people attend this event and see how we can work together to make this happen. Then leverage data and feedback loops by research. We need to do more research on this, see how tourism, media, and digital marketing can come together and help to promote not just Nigeria, but even the African continent to do better and more. I think the African continent, we can work together. Ghana, Benin, of course, work together. We can do a lot, especially with ECOWAS system, to promote the industry, not just alone as a country, but as actually, West African, East Africa, everybody works together to promote, because the diaspora plus even the international market actually want to come to Africa. It's like they want to experience this continent called Africa we see on TV. And thank God that a few people are putting some good things out there, so they actually want to come and see and explore it themselves. Then lastly, promote sustainable inclusive tourism. Promote sustainable and inclusive tourism. Community-focused digital storytelling. Very important. It helps to promote responsible travel and aligns with the SDG goals, which is about using sustainable tourism to create more jobs, to preserve culture, and to build the economy. So, what's the next slide? I think we're done with that. I think, like I said, suggestion for further research. I will advise somebody else to continue from where I stopped. Because I'm still recuperating from this research. 10 months of researching. My fellow colleagues can tell, Panama University, they will train you to do a good job because they believe in quality. Right? That's the reason why I went to Panama University. They believe in quality, and I'm sure that this research, done well by the grace of God, we just did our external defense like last week, and we were praying for good results. So I believe that.
Sorry.
That done. Yes?
This research done well, full stop.
Done well?
Done well.
Ah,
not by the grace of God.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that encouraging word. So, like I said, for suggesting for further research, conduct regional and geographical specific studies of digital tourism. I was limited. I had more of Lagos, because this is where I am. I could do a lot of other states. I did a few people and a few diaspora. Then, of course, compare Nigeria's strategy with African countries like Rwanda and Ghana, who are doing it very well. Like I said, myself was limited for that. And then run a longitudinal study. A longitudinal study is, I just did this for 10 months. We want something that we can say this every year where we're collecting information and then see how it's transited and helping. So every time we come back, say, okay, we did this research for this year, this is the results. How can we do better? Next one, yes. I can join that team, but I don't have the capacity right now to do that. So we want someone to go ahead and do more of that. And then lastly, investigate policy implementation, gaps and institutional readiness to adopt this digital innovation. I think I would like to thank NESG, Nigerian Economic Summit Group. They've been doing a great job trying to work with both the private sector and the public sector to develop policies for the industry. We did this thing for I think 3 years, Lola? 3-4 years where we've been working with both the public and private sector. That's the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, the Travel and Tourism and Hospitality Thematic Group, which people like Lola and I are part of. And even Goge Africa was part of the team that did this. Naoto too was part of the team that did this, created these policies that we can be implemented. So we're hoping that with the work we've done for 3-4 years, the implementation will happen. But it takes public and private bodies working together. You know that's okay, private body has done the work. Yeah, government, take it, I'll just sit down and hold their hands. No. That's where people like us come in, where we're trying to make sure that these policies that are created are actually implemented, so that all these things I'm saying here is not a waste. Yeah. All right, so I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your attention. I can take at least 2 questions, and then we'll now go to the roundtable. But before I will take questions, we're going next to the roundtable session. Now, this is where I need people to do the work. See, I've left the podium. I've come here. I'm going to have all these tables where we're going to have a coordinator that will manage your table. Now, they have questions they're going to ask you based on the research I have done. And each of these questions, we have 5 themes. So I deducted 5 themes from this question, from this research, that will help us create like a tourism media playbook, where we can say everything we've done here, everything we've talked about here. We'll draft it, do a book, and of course share with stakeholders, and from there see how we can start implementing this thing. The government can't do this alone. We have to work together with them to do it. So that's why we're here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to number each table, and then each number I've given the coordinators already here. By the time I call it, this was 1, 2. The person will come and sit on your table. He or she will coordinate your table, ask you questions. This is a 45-minute session, right? So we're going to make sure that it's as fast as possible. Please, in each table, let others talk. I'll say it again. Please, in each table, let others talk. Your coordinator is going to give you at least 2 minutes or 3 minutes to give your own feedback based on the question they're going to share, and they'll jot it down. They will be recording with their phones. I hope, my coordinators, I hope your phones are charged though, because it's going to record for like 45 minutes. But they'll also be jotting down salient points. Now, at the end of the 45-minute session, she or he will pick someone in the group that will come and share your feedback in like 2 minutes. Each table is going to share at least a feedback in at least 2 minutes. And then we can now wrap it up, and they will now say what the next steps are. Are we ready? Yeah. I don't do that work. Sorry, that's what you came here for. It's not just for every talk and my classmates talk and my panelists talk. It's also work together. I don't believe in going to the event and just sit down listening. I like to see my audience to participate, so this is what we're doing here. All right, so are we ready? Yeah. I cannot hear you. Are we ready? Yeah. All right, fine. Do you have any questions before we start? Any questions? I'm taking 2. Mr. Leko, do you have a question? Any questions? If there are no questions, then let's start. All right, table 1 is here. If you're in table 1, coordinator, please come and stay here. Table 2, ready there. All right, hopefully Shadi is going to be a leader. Table 1, please. Come and stay. Table 3. Who's coordinator for table 3? Please come and sit down with them. Table 3. Names are calling me. Now, who's got another table? What another table? 2 and 3. Okay. Table 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Table 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then table 5. Is it Maya?
We have 40 minutes to go for this session now. Please start, ask the questions, and please ensure that everybody contributes. Please don't forget to record on my coordinators, record on your phone, please. Audio record. Emeka, see them, man. Emeka is with you. Emeka is doing, Emeka, your team is, your team is, which one? Influencer content and collaboration models. That's yours. Yes. That's team 3. Team 3. Influential content. And all that. Let me try and see if I can get those in the room to leave business. Test room. Finish room.
Alright, so let's have you. Can we have one house, please? One house, please. One house, please, everybody. One house. One house, please. One house. Mr. Naleko, it's okay, sir. We know you're passionate. Thank you, Jesus. Alright, okay, so Folakemi, who's in your group? Okay, Oga, please just two minutes. You want to work. Okay, stand up and check. Can we have one house, please? Please, can we have one house? Please, can we have one house? Thank you very much.
Good afternoon.
One house, please.
Samuel.
One
house. We discussed about policy and digital infrastructure. So let me just bring you into summary.
Okay, wait. I'm not liking that marking at all. This one, please.
Thank you very much. So we discussed about policy and digital infrastructure. And in one word, I would just say, in summary rather, strengthening policy coordination. That is, integrating policies from the media space, from the technological space and the tourism space into one body with just a task. That is to bring together establishing a task force to align policy, monitor the progress, and implement them accordingly while we build a sustainable environment for the tourism industry. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Lola. Our team talked about capacity building and digital development. So we're looking at it from the side of the creators, the content creators, the influencers, as well as the private sector and the government. So when it comes to storytelling, we looked at it that the main things that we need are one, regulation around what they're doing to be able to make it safe, to make it authentic. And also meaning that those people should be as authentic as possible. Authenticity would stem from passion versus trying to generate revenue because, there's only so much you can tell true to yourself. We talked about collaboration. Collaboration is essential. First of all, in the private sector, for all the private players to come together with one voice before we now take it to the government side. And then with regards to expertise for the tourism boards, how can they be experts in what they do? It's through education, through orientation, so that they know what it is that they're coming to us with and for. That way, it becomes authentic, they're able to approach people. And then, of course, regulation, ever so important. And then what do we need with all of this is data. We need data to be captured properly at the different levels. There are so many opportunities to capture data, and data will tell us the story of what's happening, what needs to happen, and where we need to go. We need to develop a unified vision. That unified vision is what everybody taps into versus everybody trying to create their own different stories. So stories will be created around the unified vision. And for the government or the tourism boards, hire consultants if you don't have the expertise so that you can build and you can tell the right type of story that needs to go out there. So that was it for us. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vera, and we talked about, I think we talked more about policy reforms when it comes to public-private partnership in tourism. And we noticed that, or a lot of people raised the fact that the maintenance culture in Nigeria at the moment is really, really poor. And one of the things we would want is for the government to be actively involved in maintaining majority of the tourist attractions so that people, you don't have what I ordered versus what I bought when you're visiting places. Because if you see beautiful pictures today and then you're visiting these places in the next 2 months and it has deteriorated greatly, yes. So another one is for the government to be actively involved in implementing policies and also sensitizing members of the community to be respectful and welcoming to visitors. There's a one thing about that's okay. On the one hand, we have responsible tourism, where you as a visitor respect the people and the place you're visiting. But on the other hand, there's a part where members of the community could be hostile to the visitors. So when they're sensitized properly, they will learn to be welcoming to the visitors so that people can actually return to these places. And also proper monitoring of projects so that they're done properly at the beginning and these attractions do not deteriorate quickly. Right? Yeah. So sometimes substandard materials are used to build the space from the beginning, and in a few years they deteriorate. So it makes sense that these places are built well from the beginning, from hotels to resorts to tourist attractions themselves. And Okay, yeah. So, and the government has to collaborate with the private sector as well to get things moving in terms of. Can I have your feedback?
So, ours was tech adoption for tourism business. So we mentioned collaboration and how that those that cannot afford VR, those that cannot afford this tech, can actually collaborate with others. And that we should not gatekeep information, we should not gatekeep things that can be beneficial to one another. We also mentioned training here, how that we have many persons in the industry that they only adopt tech, but when it comes to maximizing the potential of the tech they bring into the system, sometimes they only do little of what the tech has to offer. So for instance, a practical example was given of a site where people visit, and when they get there, there's nobody to operate what they have there. So proper learning, proper communication, we also help this project. We also mentioned UGC, having relevant data. That with relevant data, we can do more as a nation. Thank you.
Come across it and like it to, oh, it's been long I drank Gary and Granite, and you've influenced that person. And also there are those on a larger platform, especially on commercialization. So we are believing that the best way to balance this, first of all, if it's just normal, I'm in an hotel, I'm in an area, yes, we can do that. But for proper balancing as it pertains to culture and heritage, we need to go to the locals, especially the custodians of the culture and heritage in that locality, in order not to distort traditions and stories about traditions and culture. Then, we have another focus area is the long-term storytelling and destination influencing campaign strategies. We are trying to look at how governments and influencers can collaborate for a long-term influencing plan, to have a long-term content creation about a place or a destination. So we agree that for that to happen, first of all, there needs to be a plan, a long-term policy plan to have that storytelling on table for the number of years or months, and also for there to be a particular theme for that long-term, for that storytelling to be sustainable. There must be a theme, like Lagos have 30 December, Calabar Carnival, and all the rest. And all of this must be put in place. And also to encourage sustainability, we also do not, we are not unmindful of the place of incentives to the content creators. Now, we're not talking about monetary or finance gifts now. We're talking about intrinsic gifts such as awarding ambassadors or MFM and MFR and BSc and you know, all those things that will motivate. Like if the government recognize 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 influencers across demographics, Gen Z, Gen W, and all the rest, and probably recognize them in one way or the other through awards and other incentives, these people, this set of people will take it upon themselves, they will die on itself to promote Nigeria. Then we have the negative content versus positive content and the role of the government in controlling the narrative. This table agree that enough of clamping down on negative narratives. We do not have to do that. Every destination has their own. I think we believe that the best way to counter this negative narrative is to follow it up with a positive working on. Acknowledge that challenge, acknowledge whatever it is that has been brought up in that post, then follow it up with the measures put in place to remedy that post. Like, let's say, for example, like I said, we were talking to someone about the road to Owu waterfall being bad and all the rest, being a death trap. And somebody else told me, oh, it's been addressed. I said, where? Show me the picture. Show me the video. Show me a write-up about that road being addressed. So if we all say, oh, I, for example, say it because I've been there and I've traveled over there. And so I still have that story in my head. And so if somebody's asking me about Owu waterfall, I will tell them, don't go. You understand? Because you go die for road. You know? So, but if the government, and then somebody else said, okay, there was a video of an area in Lagos being bad, and the person posted that video and said, this is Lagos. And immediately, the local government chairman of that place took it upon themselves within a week. There was a remedy of that place, and a follow-up video was posted. So I think that is the best way to counter any negative narrative. Then we talk of data and evaluating the use of data sharp. So we all agree, and just as Mr. Sumonu said during the panel section, data is like okay. Water. So there are data, of course, but it's segmented. The airline have airpiece have data, hotel has data, but all of these are individual segments. But how do we collaborate it together? First of all, we have to talk to our government of not using our data against us.
Yeah.
To increase fines and taxes and all the rest. And I think also I've been hearing of this. I just recently, through Nene and the online, research, got to hear of this media lab. We can have a media lab up with a collaboration of public and private, focusing on data segment, data, so that every one of us, and there will be guidelines of assessing that, and all those things. So once we are confident that we are safe in producing our data, and hobbying it in that space, then everything will be all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Are we tired? No. We shouldn't be. My name is Edith, and on our table we discussed how Nollywood, YouTube, and podcasts and other storytelling platforms amplify tourism growth and cultural narrative. Starting off with Nollywood, we discussed how we understand it started out as a private establishment and it is profit driven, but at the same time, the government can collaborate with Nollywood to showcase our destinations. Something I've learned on the table is that apparently a part of South Africa supports their filmmakers. They give them funds for them to make movies and then promote parts of South Africa. We can replicate that in Nigeria, where the government gives us funds, and let's say if you're situating a movie in Eri-Jesha, just like the one that was done, Lion Hearts, if I'm not mistaken, or Seven Hearts, we can replicate that where they are giving funds, the roads are repaired, and it's accessible and easier to create movies in these places and highlight certain destinations. We talked about how YouTube could also be used to amplify tourism in Nigeria, where we make short films like what Ruth Kadiri is doing, but amplify creativity by showcasing Nigeria. In terms of podcasts, apparently there aren't a number of travel-centered or travel-focused podcasts. I just recently learned of what Goge Africa is doing, which I think is absolutely brilliant. So we need more of that, and what is already existing. We need more of that to amplify and showcase Nigeria. And other platforms, it's not exclusive to just, let's say, Nollywood or YouTube or podcasting, but also using X, writing stories, email marketing. All these can be used to amplify tourism in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
From that, and of course, the papers I have here, I'll give you back. Maybe what you can do is that some of you have my numbers. Just write a summary and send it to me, so I can collate that plus the audio recording. And the plan is to create a tourism media playbook. The whole idea from my research that I've done to what we're doing here on the round table, we're collating it as a report, which we're sending to our school so that we can pass and graduate people. Very important. But also, it's something that I want us to use in the industry. Fortunately, I'm part of the NESG group on the travel and tourism and hospitality theme, and we've done a lot. So from this, we can do more. And now focus on media. I was part of the media and communication team for NESG, and it's from there that I saw there was a gap. We have the ideas, but who are people implementing these ideas? We have the resources, but who are people implementing the resources? So those of us in this room can be those people that will help to implement them. We've done the work, we have given you everything. How do we make this happen? And hopefully the tourism media playbook will be able to do that. All right, so to wrap this up, I'm going to call my colleague Rashid. Rashid, please come and give vote of thanks so that we can allow our guests to go. They've tried for us today. Please give a round of applause for Rashid. Rashid is my clap on you. Thank you.
you so much, Elena. So a warm appreciation and special thank you to everyone for joining us online and physically. It has been truly insightful and a mark of collaboration. We would like to thank our speaker and our keynote speakers as well. Our strategic partners, RedClay Advisory, Goge Africa, NCAC, FTAN, Radisson Blue, and GE Events, and our approval from Pan Atlantic University. Some of our sponsors as well, Tour Brokers International, Travel Scope Magazine, Happy Coffee, Unique Palatos, Wakaraval TV, T-Props, and some of our anonymous sponsors. And on behalf of the organizing team, Nene Fakoya-Smith, Nene Uwa, Mary David, and myself, Rashid Oshinosi. A big thank you to everyone again, and do have a safe trip home. Thank you, and hope to see you next year.
Before you call it today, I don't need just one person. I really need just one person that can volunteer and give us a summary of what have happened today and what they are taking away from this place today. Just one person, please. Any volunteers? A round of applause for him. Please, your name.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Emmanuel Kansu, and what we have actually seen here today is a nice one. We all convened for the Tourism Media Summit, where Nene Fakoya-Smith presented the results of her research for her master's at the Pan Atlantic University. But the take-home from there is that there needs to be a collaboration between the media practitioners, the stakeholders in government, the policymakers, and we, the practitioners in the tourism ecosystem. And the aspect we all agreed on today is one, tech. There needs to be more use of tech in the tourism ecosystem. And for this to work, it has to be from a bottom-up approach. The technologies must be there. The people who are the custodians of these technologies must know how to use them. They must be trained on how to use technologies. Then when we talk about VR, AR, AI, and other things like that, we all agree that there must be data. Of course, AI thrives on data. If there's no data, there's nothing AI wants to work with. And this data, for us in tourism, the majority of data we have from what we have learned here today is UGC, user-generated content. So the stakeholders in government, the stakeholders in other tourism policy makers need to aggregate this data to promote Nigeria. Then from the groups, we also learned that tourism must be promoted actively. And if someone is giving a negative experience of what he has experienced at a tourist destination, instead of countering him or saying he has an agenda or not, in marketing, the customer has a right to express his feelings. Those in the tourism ecosystem can counter that opinion by projecting what they have done to improve things from the last time that person made that observation or that complaint. And from Nena's presentation, we also learned that there is a serious need for capacity building in tourism in Nigeria as far as using tech and media is concerned. She submitted from her research that the three major platforms that are being used are YouTube, WhatsApp, and Instagram. The government too, the tourism organizations too, can get on these platforms and promote Nigeria positively. My personal take home from today, from all that has been said, is that there should be a unity of message. What are we actually selling Nigeria for? Or what are we actually saying about Nigeria? We cannot have one message today, another one tomorrow, different messages online. And people in the diaspora, others don't even know what we want to come and do in Nigeria. That there should be a uniform message which all tour operators, destination marketers, policy makers, those in government can promote. We can even have it on our taglines. We can have it on our branding. So anybody anywhere in the world that sees it, if it is visit Nigeria, fine. If it is experience Nigeria, fine. If it is live Nigeria, fine. Let us have one message. Thank you very much.
They are giving you a free ticket to Moonshot by Takeover next week. Please, a round of applause for RedClay advisory. Thank you so much. And this brings us to the end of today's conversation. We want to say a very, very big thank you for everyone for staying to this time. Thank you for the conversations. Thank you for the feedback. We say thank you once again to all our sponsors, to all our partners, and then from me to everyone here, I say that let us continue this conversation even outside from here. Let us collaborate and not just talking this time around. Let us start acting. Thank you very much and have an amazing week. My name is Nene Uwa.